Every single day, it is exactly the same. Wake up, go to work where I sit until the afternoon, waiting until that long walk to school. My work is evil, I cannot hide that fact. My work is the sole reason why I'm here. Who are you to judge me and what I do? Once every week, I hold a gun to my head, give God a chance to stop me. I pull the trigger and let him decide. I take the fall. There are no steps. It's just one sweep. Forward, down, eyes closed as you feel falling forever, waiting until 3:45 on the dot. He was such a beauty. The smell of his skin, his dirt and sugar-coated flesh. He is the essence of an angel, and I am the devil that will corrupt him. Take him over, defile him, change his inhibitions for safety. He will no longer walk a carefree straight line. It is my will to devour him, leaving only an empty shell behind. He is the only savior to all of my lust devices and dared fantasies for possession of his soul. Every drop of his tears speckle with blood that I pull from underneath his skin. He will be mine. It is the thought of how he will never be mine that drives my inner gears. The prolonged masturbatory fantasies of the taste of such excrements as his fingernails under my tongue, collecting the skin from under his feet in glass jars. Even now I collect his carefree offerings, the true sign of his possible love for me. Yes, I am a monster, the defiler of youth. I have nothing in this world. The only love I have is for that of a child, a mere boy, so happy he dances for the whole world to see. His skipping, knocking up dust clouds, only I cannot join him because of the perils and perennials of society. I am locked in this cage that only he can free me from, a boy with a smile to light all of the heavens and free me from the tortures of the demons in hell, banging my brains out through a straw of all the carnal knowledge I've forced through my cerebral manifestations. I possess the mock dreams of failure and sanity found in the human existence. My mind wanders a realm where I give in to my desires, one where he is starved, locked upside down inside of a cage, and I feed him through a rubber ball gag that I've drilled and inserted a plastic hose through. Feed him only a mixture of Jolly Ranchers, oatmeal, fatty parts of the flesh that I cut off that don't please my senses, and a gentle dose of heroin sprinkled on like sugar. As his eyes roll back, slipping from consciousness, he sings me all his silly songs, a sound that mixes with the music of me jerking off into a sleeping sheet that I have soaked in ether. Cage 2 is covered on the inside with pieces of glass, a water tap on the side, and handcuffs for his right arm and left ankle. Naked, I cover his body in a mixture of Vaseline and chili powder. His ever-growing amount of cuts, I smear with sea salt and garlic powder for the appropriate flavor. I reach into the cage and rub his skin with my cupped hands as fast as I can, until his flesh turns red. Then, covering his head in a plastic bag, I slash lines at his numbed handcuffed appendages with an X-Acto knife, cleaning him with a stream of my piss. If he still does not learn the lesson, I move on to step 2. Sticking thumbtacks tied to the end of the string onto the end of the meat on his shoulder and collarbone areas. I make designs with the array of colors. When I'm pleased with the design, I tie all the string together and sew into under some skin in his back, spraying the string with lighter fluid and lighting it. After a few seconds of its flame, I pull it off in one movement and cover his wounds with toothpaste and then sprayed in Windex. As I lick the blood-soaked little kneecaps clean of the dirt from his cage, I use a hand shaver to pull off all the caked plasma of his body. I feel his movements under the blade as I fight the temptation to sink into him. When all the hair and blood is off, I move floor lamps over his little body till I can lick the sweat off. The thoughts of locking him on a stainless steel table, both eyes held open with metal hooks, the right, a giant maglite flashlight turned on and shoved into it, the left, held open only to the air to watch projections of gay orgies and Nazi Holocaust footage. As his open eye waters, I pour vinegar mixed with piss and semen. He could not look away from the horrors, the images of hardcore porn close-ups, and experiments on people and animals, the deaths of millions, as I scrape away at his underdeveloped prick. His little mouth begs for the hose of a vacuum cleaner shoved down it, sucking up all of his insides into an old fish tank. Then I see him convulse, and the blood leak over from the insides of his mouth. I wipe it off, seeing the bits of food from his aforementioned afternoon snack. During his viewing time, I put on a vintage gas mask, plugging the end of the hose over his little penis. Now he is clasped down to the table for the routine of cutting of slits into parts of his body. These new blood-leaking areas I insert my penis to and ravish them with the sporadic jolts of my lust for the boy, breathing in the heat from his genitals inside the mask as he tries to shake the humping off his body parts. I grab hold, and through the fogged lenses of the mask, watch with him in bliss the films being projected. This heaven has very little cleanup, as I just throw salt in all of his sex wounds and spray them with vinegar solution as it keeps the body soft and pure. I'm waiting for nothing. I ponder that nothing can change. There is no destiny, just the movement or strides you make to have something accomplished. To not live is to be dead, I've heard. But I ask, why is it that life leads to death? If life is so awe-inspiring in the height of existence, to be happy and cheerful and prosperous, I seem to be the exact opposite. You could call this slump that I beckon not to leave depression, but the only thing depressing is the fact that there is nothing to truly make myself go out and live a life. Yes, I keep all of my wishes for boyhood lust inside, but I ask, what is more dangerous, give in to vices or to lock them away? For I have become all of my demons. I have not broken through this wall that separates me from the world, but every day I chisel away at it in hopes to escape and embrace all the horrors I've laid out for years in my mind. The apple of my eye must be free. I will set it loose on the bowels of a child, in a dark room, under my unaccustomed control. Now I can only wait for the right moment. Tomorrow.